Testing 1, 2. All right, good morning, everyone. Happy Tuesday. If you're joining this stream, a couple things we're going to do. Just put in the chat as you come in, put your name and tell me where you are from. I think, was it Sunday, I think we had somebody from Germany and somebody from Africa. That was really cool that you guys tell me where you're from. And I think many of you know now I have 6 students and they're kind of scattered all throughout the world. So thank you wherever you are in the world. Let's go ahead and do this. So a couple things we're going to do today is one, to our members, I sent out this PDF. And for anybody who needs it, just put in the chat or the comments that you'd like the PDF and I'll send it out to you guys. But it's basically, I'm calling this the Tuesday IMA Confidence Blues. And the reason I say that is because we're going to do a couple of things. We're going to talk about bass lines and the importance of practicing them hand separate. But also we're going to work on this Ray Charles lick that we've been doing. We did a whole series on What I'd Say, the song What I'd Say. And we did a blues lick series on that, but I actually put that in today's chart. Let me go ahead and change the view and put the chart up so you guys can at least see it. And I did send this out in the email to my troopers, my Dave P, give shout outs on the front end. Dave P, Dave W, Claire, T-Man, Peter, Ian, and also include Roy, who I have invited as a guest recently. And anyway, let's go ahead and dig right in, and we'll talk about some really cool updates in just a few minutes. So let me pull up the chart. Now, the IMA Tuesday Confidence Blues, it starts with this minor third to major third. So a couple of things on that, and we're getting into the teaching right now, so we'll probably go at least 30 minutes today. So this will be a nice long thing. You guys will be able to watch it after as a replay. I'll just keep it up on the channel, but make sure you like the video. It helps me check in and know that you guys are here and also that you're enjoying the content. So I really appreciate that, and love it when you guys comment as well. It really does help the algorithm. All right, so left hand, let's just knock the bass line out. And we've been doing the quarter note bass line. I tell you guys to make sure you practice these hands separate. And then we did the eighth notes. And we've done the New Orleans feel, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And the list goes on and on. I think we have 21 bass lines that I've covered at one point in our journey together. So today we're just doing quarter notes that outline the triad. And then you do an eighth note at the end. So C, E, G, A, G. And so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2. Let's talk about locking up the hands as a reminder. And hey, Vicky, how's it going? Vicky, you have to put where you're from. Just put the state or the city or both, and that's all you have to do. You're going to start that off. But good morning to you, as always, Vicky. Vicky's a great supporter of the channel. Okay, so here we go. C triad. Notice that it outlines the 1, the 3, the 5 of the major scale. And then we're going up to the 6. So this is kind of a C6 bass line. And we're just doing quarter notes and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1. I knew that, Vicky, but it was nice to be able to say that to other people, or so that everybody knows. I'm from Birmingham, Alabama, for anybody who cares. 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1. Notice that I'm practicing hands separate. Why do I do that? Because I encourage all of us to be able to do that. If I learn how to do this and I practice this, I'm building up muscle memory. 1, 2, 3, 4. And so then when I go to a different key, it's the same muscle memory. Okay, so let's say that I'm going to put that with my most famous lick at iMusicAcademy. And that's this C chord to the F chord to the C7, right? You guys know this. We're coming up on 1 million views on this video, my worst quality video. But if I wanted to play the original bass line, I would do this. But if I wanted to play it more simple, I would do quarter notes. If I wanted to do the New Orleans feel, I would do this. to do the bass line from today, I would do this. Now, why can I do that? Because I've practiced these hands separate. I've built up the muscle memory. So when I'm playing these bass lines and many other, I don't even have to think about them. I can do this because I've practiced this hands separately. And then I learned how to put this all together. And the way you do it, guys and girls, is you straighten things out. At first, when you hear me play this, it kind of has a lilt to it, right? A little swing feel. You could be really laid back, or you can play it more on the beat. But the main important thing is, at first, it's kind of hard to play that specific rhythm. So you can think like a classical player for just a few minutes and do this. Listen to this. One and two, and maybe I need to break it down even more. One and, okay, those are together. Now the F and the A are together. One and two and, oh look, the G is together with the G. And then back to F, I'm on the C and A, but I'm playing it straight. What's up, Jeffrey? I can always count on Jeffrey. Jeffrey, you have to tell me where you're from, just city, state, or country. Whatever you want to do. But good to see you. Jeffrey's always checking in. I love Jeffrey's vibe. Always positive. I see Jeffrey on not only iMusicAcademy channel, but all kinds of channels. He's a great musician, multi-instrumentalist from what I remember. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about, so I hope that video, the explanation of the bass line really sinks in. How did I do it? We learn these by practicing them slow and straight. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3. Imagine if you put this into your practice routine where you're practicing things left hand and right hand. 2, 3. And then when you go to lock it up, you do it as slow as you need to go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And there are all kinds of bass lines like this that are a little more difficult. Now, I wouldn't be able to play that if I hadn't practiced that left hand only, right? And then when I go to F, guess what? It's the same motion. And even to slow that down, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Awesome. Awesome, Jeffrey. Thank you for letting us know that. Here we go. So this bass line I can do because I've practiced it hand separate. I've even practiced it slowly and straight. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And so even if I was doing a lick like this, so I had to learn where did the beats line up. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. At first it's kind of difficult, but then you get to where you don't even have to think about it. I can just have a conversation with you guys. It doesn't matter what key I'm in because I practice it hands separately, and I want to encourage you guys to do that as well. Okay, so now we're going to dig in. We're going to talk about this particular song of the day, and I like to do this for my 6 faithful people that are my unofficial membership. We do lessons all the time. In fact, with them, we've created like 50 songs, probably more than 50 songs, and they're all based on all this stuff. Well, if you have all these blues licks, but you don't have any kind of songs, it kind of takes the fun out of it. So through the help of this membership group, and they inspire me every day, we create songs. So yesterday's song was this IMA Tuesday Confidence Blues. It's a Tuesday blues because I wrote it out this morning. I told them I was going to do that. But let's talk about what it does. And can you guys see the PDF? And if you put in the comments that you want this PDF, make sure you just let me know, guys. I sent this out to my email list, but I'm happy to give this to anybody who wants it. In fact, I'll put a link. How about that? If a few people let me know that they want it, Vicky, you don't count. then I'll put it up for you guys so that you can learn this. Awesome. Okay, so let's just talk about what's happening here. All right, let me get to where I can see. Okay, so the first thing is a minor to major third. Now, why is this important? If we just played the blues scale, and you guys know I've done all kinds of blues courses, right? And we talk about this minor blues scale. What is it? 1 of a major scale, the flat third, the fourth, the sharp 4, the fifth, and the flat 7. And you guys know that I teach this 4th finger is crucial to get the flow of your blues scale by really visualizing getting to that F sharp, because that's our connector note. And I'm playing it, goofing around right now, just playing it faster, but I'm just trying to show you guys that you can build up a fluid motion if you spend time knowing how these patterns connect. Let me show you one right now. And all of this leads into our lesson today. And remember that I'm spending like 30 or 40 minutes today on this lesson, so we have a lot of time to talk through all this. But example 1 in blues, even in the Easy Jazz course in blues, we talk about, I had this blues shapes course that I did, and it's talking about shape 1 is this, the first 5 notes of the blues scale. 1 of C major, the flat third of C major, 1, 2, 3, and you flat it, the 4th, the sharp 4, and the 5th. And you put your hands down, and I like for my students to put your fingers over every single note, and you mash it down together, and it sounds horrible, right? But here's what it does. It sets you up for blues success. And I've created blues sheets that show you, okay, if you just had these 5 notes and you're doing a bass line, you can mix all that up. At first, you might want to do up and down, which I call automatic pilot. You're working your fingers. Singing along is always good as well. And then you start turning it around. So even when I go to a different chord of the C blues, I go to the F chord or I go to the G chord, this blues scale will still work, okay? So I won't spend a ton of time breaking all of that down again, but what I will tell you is I did get an email or a comment on the YouTube channel last night. It said they appreciated the lesson, but why would I send out that sheet that had 3 different blues scales? And I'm going to address that right now, and this is partly why, this is why I composed this Tuesday Confidence Blues with the minor third to major third. And the reason is, if you just played the minor scale, the minor blues scale, right, that's what this is. It's the full minor blues scale. 1, flat 3, 4, sharp 4, 5, flat 7, and 1. If you just played that on your blues, it would sound okay, but it's not going to sound great because it's missing an important note, the major third. So if I'm playing my blues scale, and it's just hitting that over and over, I want to hear this. I'm wanting to hear a little bit of resolution, so I'm doing a mixture between using that minor blues scale but also using the major third. Hear that? So I have the major third, and I also have that minor third, but I also have this idea of sliding off that major third. So you can do all kinds of fun things with that. You can go C triad and give me a triplet feel of doing 2, 3, 5, minor third to major third. Okay, so getting that major third, and that's why I did this. The very first thing is the minor third to major third. 1 and 2. Actually, let me do the bass line that's actually written on the chart. Let me check the chat real quick. If you understand this, if this is making sense, then say yes, it makes sense in the chat. And again, if you're just now joining us, I see we have 3 people watching, which it sounds like it's me, Jeffrey, and Vicky, which is fine right now and awesome. But make sure you put where you're from in the world and like the video. Here we go. So let's talk about the next measure. We do 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And what happens is we're doing a comp chord. What's a comp chord? We're doing the third note of C and the flat 7 of a C major scale. C, D, E, that's the third note. and that's the flat 7. Normally C major has a B natural. We're flatting that, so now we have a comping chord. So listen to what this sounds like, just with a comping chord. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1 and 2 and very simple. Okay, so what's happening? A comping chord is you're complementing the soloist. In this case, you are the soloist, and you're playing a comping chord. A comping chord helps set up whatever improvisation you're doing. So this is a nice 2-note voicing. Why does a 2-note voicing work? This is important to know, is that the third of the chord, if you're playing a chord, it tells you whether or not it's major or minor, right? That's the first thing it does. In this case, it's a major, a C7 chord. And then the 7th tells you whether or not it's a C major happy sound, or if it's a bluesy, what's called a dominant sound, a flat 7. So you have a bluesy sound with just these 2 notes. Da, da. So somebody emailed me yesterday and they said, hey, I love what we're doing, but if I wanted to sing along, can you tell me what I need to do to sing along with all these blues things? And that's the perfect example of a simple way to do it. You could sing along with playing comping chords, very simple. Right? This is your accompaniment. Singing the blues, right? Now listen, and then I go here. I'm singing the blues, and you can do it again. Ba ba da 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 dum. Da 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 da. And I went like this. I was about to sing the minor third, and then right as a split second decision, I'm like, oh, I'm on the major third, so I can't sing da. It's not going to sound da. So I said da, right? Split the second decision. Now, technically, I could play that, and that sounds really cool and hip, but da 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 da. Da 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 da. I'm comping why I'm singing. I'm comping why I'm singing the blues. All right, very simple concepts. But the way that we get good, the way we get better, and the way that we find our own voice and our own style is by doing the simple things. And I believe that. And I think anybody can do this. You just have to learn how to do it. So let's go ahead and... Awesome. All right. So let's keep going with this PDF. And everything we have done with this PDF so far everything that I've showed you is in the PDF. All right. The first line. So this comping chords comes on beat 3. Listen, 1 and 2, 3, 4, and it does it again. First time is on beat 3. The next time is what's called a syncopated feel. Well, what in the world does that mean? That's the off beat. So if I go 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, and the and of 2 is a syncopated feel. 1, 2 and 3 and 4. So you hear that all the time. It's a neat sound. One more time. And you just have to practice that over and over. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And then you can even do what we talked about earlier, is to straighten it out. 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. So right there, I'm just saying, all right, I just know shape 1, and I'm thinking real simple. Let's keep going. And then on the next line, it goes to the F7. You guys see where that? It goes D up to E flat, and then you do these comping chords. You have the F7, which is a flat 7 and a 3. So I went from here to here, and I'm going to show you guys something really, really important. Probably the most important thing I could tell you. Awesome, Jeffrey. Let me show you guys. This is so important. Get to where I can see this. Is that comping chords, or I'm sorry, these are called guide tones. Guide tones are the third and the flat and the seventh of whatever chord you're working on. So the major third of C major, and then the major 7 of a C major scale, but I'm making it a flat 7 to make it a bluesy, jazzy sound. Now when I go on C, this is my 2-note chord, right? Guide tones. The guide tones, when I go to the F chord, which is the 4 chord of a C blues, very simple, I go down with those 2 notes, and now I have a flat 7 of F scale and the 3rd note. So a 3 flat 7 of C turns into a flat 7 3. So it flip-flops. 3 flat 7 turns into a flat 7 3. And whenever I say 3 flat 7, it's always left to right, bottom to top. You spell chords in relation to the major scale that you're on. So if I'm in the key of C and I go up and play C major, if I say the 3 in the flat 7, I want the 3rd note up to the 7, and I'm flatting it, so 3 and a flat 7. And then when I go to the F chord, guess what's happening? I have to know my F major scale, which has 1 flat, B flat, so I do F, G, A, B flat, C, D, E, F, and I do the flat 7 of an F scale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Normally it has an E natural, but I flat it, I lower it by a half step, and then I'm on my 3rd. Okay, so my C7 chord, guide tones, 3 flat 7 turn into a flat 7 3. The only other chord that we have to worry about is our 5 chord of the C blues, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'm doing the same pattern that we did on F7, flat 7 3, and then when I go to the G chord, flat 7 and 3 of a G scale. Normally a G scale has 1 sharp, and that sharp is F sharp. So I'm doing flat 7 and 3. So we have these 3 chords for our comping, and this is what my beginners need to just sink in. Beginners or intermediate players, because if you can play this in the key of C, then I want you to play it in D flat. I want you to play it in pretty much any key. And you start by very simply learning this, and then say, all right, that's C6, but when I go up to D flat, okay, now I'm playing it in D flat. What about D major? That's my triad with the 6, right? So my more intermediate players are going to be giving me that, right? And the same thing is true for your right hand. As I'm playing this, when I go to D flat, you know, I want to be able to do that. When I go to D, it's going to be a little bit different fingering, right? So that's the goal of using simple stuff. If you're a beginner or immediate or even a pro player, whatever your level is, it's important to take these simple concepts and practice them often, and hands separate, and then of course hands together. All right, so moving right along, let's keep going on this. So then it goes to that F7, and it does. Goes up to the G chord and does the 6th note up to the flat 7. And then Now, I was going to say, let's work on the last part. It makes all of this worth it. All right. This is the Ray Charles addition to this tune, or maybe we're highlighting a Ray Charles on this last measure, and it comes right out of What I'd Say. This lick we're calling the What I'd Say lick at the end of that. And there are a couple of different fingerings you can use for that. So let's talk about what's happening on the lick. So all I'm doing is I'm thinking in this in relation to a C blues scale. So what is happening here is, if you look at a C blues scale, 1, flat 3, 4, sharp 4, 5, I'm actually sliding up to the 5th note. And this is important because if I was in the key of E, I'm going to slide up to the 5th note of the E scale, right? Doesn't matter, whatever key I'm in, I'm sliding up to that 5th note. And then I went to the flat 7, up to the root. And then I'm going to go to the sharp 4 of the scale of C, which is that F sharp, down to the F, E flat, C, B flat. So we have this slowly. 1 and 2 and 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Now, this, you guys have to hang in there with me, because as I talk about this measure, we're going to spend at least 5 minutes talking about this measure. All right, the first thing you see in the sheet music. Can you guys see the bottom? Yeah, I guess you can see the sheet music. Is that those are great? Those little small tiny notes are your grace notes. It's F, F sharp, and G. Now, if I were to try to play this by rolling it up 1, 2, 3, it would be all right, but it's not going to have the same. It's not going to have the same kind of feel or meaning unless I do a different fingering. If I do 2, 3, 3, and be really loose with it, this is one of those you don't get just right away. It's not automatic. When I started doing this with What I'd Say with our student group, I was like, wow, my fingers are normally used to doing more of a 1, 2, 3 kind of thing. And so then I started doing this fingering, which I have a classical background as well, and as well as, you know, some different styles, but I never thought of being so like 2, 3, 3. Now I do that often in a lot of licks that I do. I'm used to doing grace notes and using one finger, but when you do like 2, 3, 3, 4, and even sliding from a grace note on the way back down, it seems a bit odd. You know, normally I might think, oh, I'll just go 4, 3. But this idea of 3 to 3, you just have to practice this. So let's talk about the first two notes, F and F sharp. I'm going to give you two different fingerings, and then I'm going to let you guys decide which one you prefer. But if you do 2, 3, 3, but the main note and the downbeat is actually the G, 1, 1. It's kind of weird to think about 1. The way you get it is practicing it very slowly. Kind of like molasses, right? So 1 and 2 and. So the next time you also see the grace note of the F sharp or G flat, however you want to look at it, and you have to slide down with your third down to your middle finger, and then you're at N4 and 1. 2, 1, 2, 1. So let me do the whole fingering. 2 to 3, 4, 5, 3, 3, 2, 1, 2, 1. And this is not in the PDF, but this is where the What I'd Say, normally in the key of E. That's how we practice that. But we're doing it in the key of C. If you were doing that bass line, you'd practice it slowly. That's kind of where it comes from, but we're doing it really slow. And 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. So our bass line is this. We're doing it as a turnaround. Well, what is a turnaround? It's a set of chords or something to help you get back to the top of the form. And all we're doing is C, E, F, F sharp, G, and then we go to G. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3. So if I was doing it super slow motion, and then I did, we start over again. So the C goes with the E. And then all I did right there is just 1, 2, 3 is fine. 1, 2, 3. And I'm just rolling up to the third. So the third of the G chords we have. Okay, so let's play the whole thing really slowly, and then I'll talk about how you're going to take it to the next phase or next level. Let me see. All right, so we're going to start off. F. Back to E flat, E. And then G. At the end, notice that there's one extra note. There's the G. Let me just make sure I wrote that in there. Yeah, the G, and that actually gets us back to bo-da-da, bo-da-da, bo-da-da. And then E. Actually, okay, so yesterday when we did this lesson, and thank you for those who are liking, I see we have 4 people watching. Make sure you just put in the chat where you're from, what part of the world you're from. Oh, what's up, Peter? Peter, you have to put where you're from in the chat so everybody can see it. We've been having people from Africa, from Germany, from the United States of America, of course. So guys, as you go through this, what I did is I came up with this idea of this particular lesson yesterday, and then I thought, well, let's come up with a solo. Well, what is a way that we just played that as our song melody, and now we come up with a solo. So I'm going to give you a couple of ideas. This is kind of our bonus time. We're going to go another 15 minutes on this nice extended lesson. The first thing is a C6 lick. So the video that I did a couple of days ago, where I showed you all the different scales that you can use, one of those is the C major blues scale. And what that is a pentatonic scale, a major pentatonic scale, which is a 5-note scale in the scale of C, or the key of C. It's a 1, 2, 3 of the C major scale, the 5 note, the 6. So 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. It's a very kind of familiar sound, but you're adding one note that makes it sound really amazing, and that's the E flat to the E. So you have this sound, and you go, but you can also do a C6 lick. And notice that I did this. It's a C triad with the 6th note, and I'm doing the minor third to the major third. I love the fact that everyone's scattered throughout the world. I knew that about Peter, but we have another member who is in Scotland, Ian, which anyway, I love the fact that we can just be anywhere in the world and do this stuff, which is so cool. Peter, it's good to see you, and hope you're having a great day. So listen to this. Okay, now, how can I even spice this idea up? Well, I'll give you an easy way is to go up to the minor third. You could go, right? But another way we can do it is listen to this. With the same Ray Charles type idea of doing that nice informal fingering, 2, 3, 3, I could do the same thing. I could go 1, 2, 2. You hear the difference? So I'm doing 1, 2, and really lazy. My downbeat is that E. All right, now let's talk about comping. Notice what I just did. I played that nice little fun melodic C6 idea. It comes right out of this scale, the major blues scale, pentatonic scale with that flat third. But then I also went and did a comping chord. That's why learning these simple 2-note comping chords, your guide tone blues, right? 2-note chords that lead here. You can use those to help fill the gaps. Listen. And a great rhythm is one that's written in this PDF, 1 and 2 and 3. Peter, I'm sure you got the email, right? I sent out this chart to you guys, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4. So I could go. And anytime, I could put that Ray Charles anytime. How about this? You get the idea, right? So this is just one idea. All right, now I'm going to show you guys something that is a game changer. All right, who's ready for a game changer? If you learned shape 1, first 5 notes of the blues scale, and I want everybody to learn it. Before I tell you the game changer, let me say this. So my course, 50 Days to Flying Fingers, has all kinds of things you're supposed to use with both hands, right? And one of those is, I have my students right now doing this one, which is is number 1, right? Which is a really, really important exercise. I encourage everybody every day to do exercise with both hands, whatever they are. But your first 5 notes of the blues scale is something I love for you guys to do every single day. If you're more experienced, do it in a different key, right? It's the same fingering all the way up, no matter what key you're in. But it needs to be slow and steady. You're building up finger strength and also muscle memory to where all the notes are. Okay, then I want you to put it 2 octaves apart. It sounds really cool when you do that, right? So you practice that for a while and get your warm up. But here's the thing, this is shape 1. If in the blues, my favorite note, I have a couple of different favorite notes for blues. One of them is the A note, okay, the 6th note. So dee da 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 da. This lick is in Blues Volume 1. Dee da 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 da. Now, notice that even when I went to the F chord, those notes are still going to work. A, G, E flat, all of those, because those are now outlining an F chord, which is so crazy the way this works. So I can take this shape, transpose it down 3 half steps. Now I'm on an A blues scale. And I'm just going to use the first 4 notes. Listen to this. Staying there. I'm staying stay there. See, and then I went back there again. So isn't it crazy that you can have one shape, this 5-note shape, and now I'm transposing it down to this key of A, and I'm only using the first 4, and now I have these notes that work perfect over the whole blues. I can play the first 5 notes over any chord in the C blues, and the same thing goes for the A scale. I can make all of those notes work as well. So now we're already starting to make some music with just those 2 ideas. All right, let's take it to a couple more steps. We have about 10 more minutes. And the next thing is, if this is shape 1, shape 2 is the top half of the blues scale. You have the 5th note of the C major blues, the C blues scale. You have the flat 7, you have the root, and the minor 3rd. Awesome, Peter. All right, so somebody put in the chat, if you're enjoying this, make sure you like the video. I think we can get up to maybe 10 likes in the next 10 minutes. We're at 6 right now. But here's another game changer. So shape 2 is just the 5th, the flat 7, the root, and the minor 3rd. I want you to notice something. With my middle finger, it doesn't matter what key I'm in, that's the root for this shape. So now I'm on the 5th, the flat 7, the root, and the minor 3rd. Okay? So middle finger. So if I was in the key of G, my middle finger, I put it on, and that's the G blues scale, shape 2. Doesn't matter what key I'm in. If I'm in A, middle finger is going to tell me what my root is. B flat's going to tell me what my root is, right? It's just such a cool game changer to know that you have these different shapes, but if you know how to get to those shapes, it really makes all the difference, right? So here's the top shape. So listen to this. 1, 2, 3, 4 is my fingering, and I could go. All of those notes are going to work. It doesn't matter what key you're in. I'm going to play them down the octave, so instead of here, I'm just going to play it down here just to listen to the sound. Isn't that kind of cool that you can just use one shape and you can just mix it up all kinds of different ways and it's going to work, because all of that is part of the C blues scale. Now, if you use your 4th finger to transition your scale, right? I keep showing you guys how you can transition from one shape to the next, and that's how you're going to build confidence. If this is shape 1 and this is shape 2, that F sharp is my connector note. I'll do the shape 2. And sometimes I want to practice just playing the scale down as an exercise. I'm just working my fingers, right? Okay, so far we had shape 1, we had shape 2, and then we also, when we started, we did the C6 lick. How about we put that as a part of our improv? Actually, we did more than that. We did this idea of the sixth note. So let me review again. You have shape 1, shape 2, and shape 1 also can be the A blues scale. And I know several of you guys are going to have to review this material. It's kind of a quick overview. And you have this idea of this blues lick, which is in Blues Volume 1. Which, for those of y'all who do not know, we've already had 2 people get the brand new versions of volume of the blues course. I have a new blues bundle and all new versions that are interactive of the blues courses, Blues Volume 1 through 4 and the jazz course. We had 2 people get those. I had Hugh get that, and the name of the person I can't remember. I have to look at it. But thank you to those 2 people that have bought the brand new versions at iMusicAcademy. I'm so excited about. Blues Volume 1 has that lick. Da, 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 da. Right? It's really important to practice these things. They have all the fingerings. Da, 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 da. So even when I go to F, okay, so let's talk about, let me show you guys something really quick. And then we'll wrap it up by just giving you all of those options one more time and making sure I provide you guys the link to this PDF that we did today. All right, this will be cool to show you. I think you guys will enjoy this. Okay, so here's for my people who have been hanging out with iMusicAcademy and all my YouTube people, thank you so much. Thank you to my email list. And if you're not on my email list, just go on and get it. I send out all kinds of free stuff. So you don't ever have to technically buy anything, but if you want any of those resources, it's always much appreciated, and I really love to teach. So here we go. Look at this. This is game changer stuff. So now everything is included, and you just click on this. Let me just demonstrate. I just clicked on it. Boom. It takes you right there, right? I click back. So any lesson you want to go to now, you just go to this clickable index, add bonus. So this is Blues Volume 4. And even this one, this whole one, Blues Volume 1 is the New Orleans bass line, right? So there's some really challenging licks in Blues Volume 4, but there are also some easier ones. Like this deals with the first 5 notes, but does this cool thing. It's paying tribute to Dwight, who's one of my really good friends, who during one of his lessons, he did this. And I said, Dwight, that's a cool lick, man. We got to put that in the book. I said, I'm going to make you famous with that. So, so anyway, let me go back to the index because I want, if you, at any time, anywhere in the book, if you want to go back to the top, the index, but the reason I want to show you this is I'm clicking on example 10. This has this lick, and it's, right? So and you can do that all the way up and down the keyboard if you just use this same fingering. 1 5 1 2 1 5 1 2 1 2 1 5 1, and then you go a whole step down and then down, and it resolves on the third. All the fingerings are always written out, and I did do a lesson the other day on that specific lick, but I just played that in the improvisation. That's why I wanted to show you that. So let me go back to our chart, and we're going to wrap up by talking about this. So as we put together solo ideas, once you have your bass line down, then you start to say, all right, what in my vocabulary, whether or not it's with iMusicAcademy or anywhere else you've learned things, then you just start experimenting, right? So just today we did this. We did the first 5 notes of the blues scale, and I said you could go, or and maybe a comping chord. Or maybe I want to do the C6 lick. maybe I want to start off with it. That sounded good. Let me do it again. How about this? That's the A blues scale. There's that C6 lick. And what was that? That's my most popular lick at iMusicAcademy, is that C with the slide to the F to the C7. Now just this one example, and along with the left hand, really get your fingers working. How about this? How about on F? What did I do right there? You guys know that the other day I put up a video from Blues Volume 2 that shows you how to play this lick right here, right? It's also in my most popular video. Worst quality, most popular video. And it's this lick of sliding from the minor third to the major third and outlining the triad. And all you do is come down, come over with the 4 chord. And that gives you a whole, impress your friends. That's why I called it the impress your friends kind of lick. So you could practice that as a part of, marrying it all together. I could go even on F. Again. Maybe I'm going to do it on G. Two and 3 and 4. And maybe on F. Really working the fingers right here. This. Let me show you the two different fingerings. So I go back and forth between playing 2, 3, 3, 4, 5, and the other fingering is 1, 2, 1. And what I need to do and what we all need to do is decide which one you're going to use. I got this microphone in the way, but I can't see what I'm doing. But if I use 2, 3, 3, 4, 5, it sets me up for the B flat. But we have to make sure our fingers are strong enough to do that. I would actually say my fingers are kind of weak at times. So maybe 1, 2, 2 is a better fingering. Try the other fingering. Once you get the right hand licks down, you can also do left hand bass lines. You can change it all up however you want to do it. good workout. All right, any questions on anything? We're wrapping it up. I'm going to give out shouts. What's up, Mac? Mac, you got to tell us where you're from. What part of the world is Mac from? That's what we need to know. Everybody has done it so far. I am from Alabama. We've got Belgium in the house. We've got Ohio, Philadelphia. Hoping Mac's still here. We might have missed Mac. All right, guys, as you put it all together, just know that you can do this. Anything I can do, you can do, and maybe a lot better than me, but I hope that everybody has fun with this music stuff. And if you're a beginner, remember that all we have to do is break things down, do it very simple. I'm going to give you a very quick recap, and I'm going to leave this video up. Make sure you comment on the video, like the video. It really does help the algorithm when you guys comment, and so thank you for that. But you're going to take things very simple, right? I teach you all the time. Do these left-hand bass lines, left hand only. Build up that finger memory, muscle memory, and also you can play it straight. 1, 2, 3, 4, and as slow as you need to go. And sometimes I demonstrate things. I try to make sure I do it slow, but even slower than that when we're actually practicing. Like if I'm practicing the Ray Charles thing, I'm going to do it like this. All right, guys, have a great day. That was a lot of fun. Email me, check in, and in the comments, make sure you like the video and tell me where you're from. If anybody wants any resources, you can always go to iMusicAcademy, but I really appreciate you just hanging out. It was a lot of fun. Let's do it again.